Hello and welcome to the CX Files podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hillary. This is another bonus episode of the podcast where I've been calling leaders across the CX industry globally to find out how they're managing during the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. I've been asking for personal stories and insights into what companies are doing now and how they're going to cope in the longer term, what's changing in this industry. Today I called Pedro Lozano in Madrid, Spain. Pedro's the EMEA CEO of Sitel Group. Sitel has got over 80,000 people employed across the world, and as you might expect, they've been working very hard to get their contact center agents all working from home. I asked Pedro what Sitel is doing right now and how they're helping their clients to emerge from the crisis and plan for a new future in 2021. How is this crisis affecting Sitel? What do you need to do to get through this immediate crisis?
Well, I could say that this crisis at the first time is a huge risk and a huge challenge, but at the same time it's an opportunity. The first thing that we discover is that the standards business continuity plans that we had in place in every single location probably were not prepared for a situation like this. Then we have to change automatically with the generic approach to a very customized approach for our clients. It's true that we need to react really fast to the situation. And what we put on the top of our priority list was our people's safety. That was something. We are a labor-intense company, and we wanted to be sure that every single of our employees have the opportunity to continue working. Keeping the jobs is very important for us, of course, and for them, but at the same time ensuring that their health situation won't be impacted. At the same time, we needed to react quickly, as I said, being agile, but trying to be very process-oriented. We put in place an enterprise change management approach in order to ensure that every single of our clients and of our activities would be covered. And I would say that was probably the main challenge that we faced in EMEA, because having more than 350 different clients, and some of them not, let's say, as big as could be in the American market or in the APAC businesses, meant that we had a huge issue in terms of planning and prioritization. Every single country of the 15 countries that I represent in Sitel in EMEA wanted to be the first. Every single client wanted to be prioritized and be the first on, in this case, moving people from the brick and mortar centers to work at home. That was the solution that we thought that was the right one. And that was the main challenge I had to face. I'm normally saying that my role is making decisions that others can't or do not want to make. And that's true, because I have to fight with all my country leaders and general managers, trying to convince them how to stack rank the different requests that we were receiving, and to tell our clients that they need to have a little bit of patience, because this happens so fast. And in 2 weeks, we have to do so many things that even working 24 hours per day was not enough to meet the client's expectations. Only to put an example, in the last 2 weeks, we moved 8,570 people from our sites to working from home. The problem is that the request that we have still executing is more than 15,600 that need to be moved in the next hours or days. Because each day the governments are putting even more constraints to our activity to be developed in our centers. In some of the countries, definitely decided to close the sites. In others, they are putting restriction only to deliver essential activities, and not always contact center, because of the services that we deliver for some of our clients are not considered essential. In other cases, our question of transportation, people are not able to have access to our sites. So complex that, is when you discover what you can deliver and what you can do for everyone. And I would say, last but not least, the good thing of having operations in multiple countries is making us to learn from what's happening in one country in order to anticipate what would happen. Because we know that the same that happened originally in Italy and then in Spain is coming. And this helped us, for example, to plan properly our activities in the UK. That was a little bit, let's say, later in the process to make decisions coming from the government. Let's say that week or 10 days, that was late in comparison with the other countries, help us to plan properly and start moving people even before that they were requested to stay at home. So I could say that would be before and after this crisis in this industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really interesting. And it's interesting that things are moving so fast, but the clients want you to move even faster. I mean, what are you talking to your clients about right now? Is there any specific advice that you're giving them about how to get through the next few months?
Well, I could say that the first thing that we are telling them is that this is the value of working with global companies, global partners that are able to deliver this type of BCP plans that can help to fix something that is happening in one geo versus the other. For example, now in the Philippines, they are only running between 20 and 40% of their capacity in the centers, and they cannot, due to the circumstances of that location, to move as fast and as many people to working from home due to the infrastructure that they have as a country. So global partners like Sitel are asked to deliver the same service, same language, with the same, let's say, framework immediately and as quick as that. Hey, yesterday the center in Philippines was closed, where you can deliver, I don't know, at X hundreds or thousands of seats in English for this client. And I would say that's something that is where you see the value of being a global partner. And at the same time, I would say that it's important now to start having the discussion with the clients regarding work at home as a permanent solution. At least in Europe, work at home has not been, let's say, at the top of the list of the priorities of the clients because of questions of security. Well, the perceptions, I would say, more than realities, but talking about the security things or compliance or even other type of I would say excuses on that. Now I would say that clients are more ready to identify that this is a real option, to have a permanent contingency plan, having two teams spread across the network and managed in the same way that we are doing from brick and mortar, because other of the values that we are providing to our clients is the consistency by having a global format, a global standard that is guaranteeing the clients that we are operating in the same way from country to country, from site to site, or from brick and mortar and work at home. So I would say that's our main recommendation to them.
Have any of your centers already gone past the initial crisis and seem to be in recovery already?
Well, we have different levels of movement. Some of them, we have 100% of them working from home. I can tell you our sites, for example, in Serbia, in Poland, 100% of our people are already working from home. Others are more in transition. For example, in Portugal, I think that we have now more than or nearly 2,000 people working from home. In Spain, we are 1,500. In Germany, more than 1,300. So the pace is slightly different, but I would say that all of them are moving in the same direction. Is moving as fast as possible and to move as many people working from home.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, so the immediate push is to get the agents working from home. But as we move into, say, next year, what do you think will have changed? I mean, regarding the kind of longer term strategy of your clients, I guess the work from home is clearly the most obvious change. But do you see any other changes?
Well, I could say that probably the consolidation of a part of their operation on a limited number of partners probably will help them to uh, to react quickly to situations like this. And I would say that's probably one of the main impacts that we will see. Other factor that I can anticipate regarding the future probably is a configuration or reconfiguration of the footprint of the main players in the market, because we could discover that now with the new way of running the business, perhaps some of the brick and mortar sites are not needed anymore because they are perhaps in their own locations, or recruitment capability is limited versus others. Then investing the real money in those flagships and centers that probably will have a better results than others.
Mm-hmm. And so do you think that there'll be more of a push towards automation supporting the contact center, or other methods of deflecting from the contact center, like self-service?
For sure. All these complementary channels will be, I would say, integrated more and more in the contact center to guarantee that the customers have the option to to be serviced from their homes or from locations that normally they were not planning to do, or in situations that they were not having the access. We are seeing during these days that some of the telephone lines were collapsed when plenty of customers were at the same time trying to call the centers or the brands in order to understand what was going on for a certain service. So the more options we could offer to the final customer, the better, in order to spread the number of contacts in multiple channels. And the more the automation could be done, the use of chatbots and artificial intelligence is something that definitely will be immediately happening.
Thanks for listening to the CX Files podcast. Please take a moment to review the podcast, because this helps other listeners to find it. And if you have any suggestions, then get in touch with me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm @Mark Hillary with 2 L's, or just search Google for Mark Hillary.